Hi, we're here at Live and Local with Guitar Talk, and here with Buddy Duchamp. And Buddy is a very, very unique individual that plays guitar in Lafayette, Louisiana, and Acadiana area. Buddy, can you tell us a little bit about what it is that you do other than play the guitar?
Well, right now I'm in the process of helping to, for the last 5 years, trying to promote musicians. Musicians are having a very hard time making a living doing their craft that they work so hard at. But most musicians have this passion. So 5 years ago we started up what we call Musicians Night, which is a networking night. We finally found a really good home here at the Oasis to help musicians further their craft, give them a place to play, give them a home to network. We plan on expanding this throughout Louisiana. With that said, I've had such a love of music for so many years. Back in 2002, I believe it was, I was offered a job as director of manufacturing for a company called CA Guitars, which build carbon fiber instruments. Worked for them for about 3 years and decided to go off on my own and start building one-of-a-kind handmade custom guitars using carbon fiber and wood. A little precursor to my life, when I was 13, 42 years ago, I broke my leg on the 4th of July with on a first cousin of mine's dune cycle, a little three-wheeler. Convinced my father to get me a guitar for my birthday, which was in August. And my cousin got him to go to the library and get me a book. Well, my cousin is John Willis. He's one of the top session players in Nashville. Played with such people as Gretchen Wilson, Jewel, Alabama, Tim McGraw, Reba McEntire, Alison Krauss, and the list goes, Shania Twain. The list goes on and on. John and I were very close growing up, so we started a little group. My voice has always been very deep. John's voice was high, so we started, I would play a little bit, he would sing a little bit with me. And then he picked up a harmonica. He mastered that in no time. Then he picked up a banjo. So we're doing a lot of stuff like Nitty Gritty Dirt Band, the Eagles. I cut my teeth on Crawford, Stills, Nash and Young therefore I really like harmonies. But my life is very full right now because I get not only to build guitars, play them very often because I've worked with quite a few projects, but design and repair instruments for other musicians.
Buddy, tell me, you've been playing the guitar since you were 13.
Yes, sir, that's
okay.
Correct.
What is your favorite thing about playing the guitar?
I guess since I'm not a very accomplished guitar player, I'll be the first one to say it. I don't think my skills at playing will ever get much past where they are now, but it enabled me to write music. And I've written a number of songs throughout the years. I think music has been one of the things that has really kept me focused and stable throughout my life. I love the fact that I can say what I need to say through a song, whether it's my own song or another individual song. There are quite a number of cover tunes, like we call them, that really hit home. I try to instruct young players and even some of the older players, if you're going to do a song on stage, do something that you really feel, because it transfers to the audience. When you're really feeling a song, the audience can feel that.
Buddy, I have one more question. Before we actually see some of the guitars that you've actually made, what is your favorite song to play on guitar, if you can think of one?
Oh, that's a hard question for me right there. There's so many good tunes out there.
Top three.
Top three, I think right now, there's a new song that I started working up, but one of them is called Jolene. The other one is Here Comes the Sun, but I do a kind of a cross version between Richie Havens and the Beatles. And maybe Willing by Little Feat. Probably the three songs I really enjoy doing.
Okay. Buddy, is there one of these guitars in particular that I'm sure you like all three of them the same, but is there one that you can explain a little bit more to show how well you actually build a guitar?
Yeah, this one right here is
it's a little worn because it's my favorite instrument. This guitar was a prototype design that we did. The sides and the back and the neck are wood with a flame maple binding. It's mahogany neck. But the top is a really unique part of this instrument. The top itself is a combination of Sitka spruce. There's carbon fiber as a center core, and the inside layer is cedar, which gives it a good warm tone. Now, this guitar has absolutely no bracing, like standard, like a Martin will have an X bracing. Some guitars will have a fan bracing. This one has no bracing whatsoever. It also has, but it does have a sound post like they put in violins and violas and cellos, which is positioned about here, about center point. This top configuration, along with the sound post, plug in this instrument is really viable. What a lot of acoustic players don't realize is that an acoustic guitar is normally made for just what it is, to be acoustically viable. This one's not as acoustically viable, but plugged in, it's phenomenal. An acoustically viable instrument, the top resonates a lot. Well, when you're in a stage setting with a bass guitar, a drummer, those low frequencies a lot of times will trigger the top of the instrument, causing what we call feedback, or a low end resonant frequency. The sound post and the construction of this guitar allows me to still get volume without those feedback issues, while still giving me a really good tone.
It's awesome. It's awesome. So out of all three, the acoustic guitar in your hand is definitely one of your favorites.
This is probably my favorite. I mean, the other guitars, the 9-string in the back of me is actually kind of stole that idea from an old blues player called Big Joe Williams. A good friend of mine, Jamie Kelly, played me this video, and I'm looking at this old black blues player play this 9-string, and I really thought the tone palette of that instrument was really unique, so I decided to build one. And the 9-string is really a 6-string, but I doubled the high E, the B, and the G, and tuning those second strings in unison. So it gives it a nice tone palette. You kind of have the tone of a 12-string, but you still have the low-end frequencies that you can do your bass walk downs with. So it's kind of an interesting instrument. It gives a nice color to certain songs. Well, here's another instrument that is a little unique. I started building this one about a year ago. And I wanted to do something that was covered with hide. So we took a Telly style shape because it's a pretty comfortable shape to begin with. Did the body first, and then my partner and I were talking about the neck. We wanted to do something different with the neck, since we kind of call this the swamp guitar. We went ahead and we built a cypress neck. Now this cypress is 200-year-old sinker cypress, perfectly quarter sawn. In fact, I'll get it in the light maybe so you can kind of really see the grain of it. The grain on here, and the end grain in particular, is very tight. So, and the veneer, of course, it's almost looks like tiger's eye. But we did it's an oxidized redwood that we laminated up. We put an ebony fingerboard on it. We did a compound radius on the fingerboard or the fretboard, which gives a little more playability and bending notes. I built this instrument mainly for a rhythm guitar. A lot of people who play it, they don't hear that very high trebly sound that most Telecasters have. We use hand-wound Jason Lawless on this instrument. It's very warm sounding, so it makes for a really good rhythm instrument, which since I'm not a lead guitarist, I play mostly rhythm, works really good for me. After we finished the instrument, I decided I was going to keep it for myself. I didn't want to sell it. But we are getting ready to do one in ostrich skin. What musicians, a lot of guitar players don't understand is every instrument has a unique resonant frequency. When we're designing an instrument, what we try to do is we spend a lot of time with the artist to figure out what's their primary keys, and then we take a resonant frequency that is compatible and actually works well for the style of music they play and the keys that they play in. This actually lends itself to a very pleasant tone for that artist. Case in point, I built a lap steel for a young musician I met probably 12 years ago, Zeth Freeman out of Arkansas. Zeth has played Europe, toured Alaska. He wanted me to build him a lap steel, which is an instrument I'd never really built before, but he told me, he said, "Buddy, I have plenty of guitars. I don't really need a guitar, but I really like a lap steel." So this was on a Sunday we talked. By the time he made it back to Arkansas on Monday, I'd already had the design drawn up and wanted to do a hollowed lap steel with 2 humbuckers on it. And his first thing was, "Well, I don't think that's going to work. There'll be a lot of feedback issues." I said, "Well, let me build it, and since you're tuning it to open E, we'll do a resonant frequency of E." And I said, "If you don't like it, well then you don't have to buy it. I'll just take it and put it on the wall." Well, it ended up being his main lap steel, and he has some really nice lap steels. This instrument really comes alive on stage. If you get a chance, go to Zeth Freeman's page, and you can hear it somewhere on one of his videos, I'm sure. And if you look in the back of you can see a picture of the lap steel. He walks outside, looks back and he turns around. He realizes where he has been. Smokes a cigarette right outside the door. Tossed to the side, goes on in. And he wonders if his luck will change. Then he called you on the phone. The children that try to comfort him, tell him that you're not alone. Yeah, you're not alone. for sometimes is just to get a drink and see this life at the bottom of a glass. As he walks outside, looks back and turns around, screams out loud, why did life pass so fast? And he wonders if his luck will change. Then he calls you on the phone. And the children, they try to comfort him. Tell him that you're not alone. Yeah, you're not alone. As he walks outside, looks back and it turns around. So you can kind of hear the layering of the double strings where you get that 12-string effect, but you can still hear the bass walk downs that you wouldn't be able to do with a 12-string without getting that choral effect or that chorus effect. One of the things about the acoustics that we build, we incorporated this arm contour, which makes it very comfortable. So you don't have that sharp edge, like that 90-degree edge that you normally have on most acoustics.
Yeah, this is a beautiful guitar too. I mean, we've already had 3 people walk up and want to look at it and you know, say that's a beautiful guitar. It reminds me of a sports car guitar in some sort of way.
Yeah,
I mean, you have your carbon fiber on the front.
It's
I mean,
kind
it's
of interesting because we have a flame maple binding that's in red and then a quilted maple for the arm contour.
Yeah,
this instrument was a prototype, so the finish isn't as nice as I would normally have it. This instrument is a little different than my other guitar. It's a wood back and sides, wood neck, carbon fiber reinforced on the neck, but the top is solid carbon fiber. But we used a wood bracing on the internal structure, did a traditional cross bracing, but with wood bracing on the inside, but the top is nothing but carbon fiber. So you kind of get that high harmonic that carbon fiber tends to give you. So yeah, it's kind of an interesting instrument. I wasn't quite sure if it was going to collapse when I put it together or not, but it's holding up pretty good after 2 months, and I think I'm going to go back and refinish it and actually make it really nice.
well, it definitely has a great sound.
Well, thank you. Appreciate that.